Part 2 of this video is going to be a little controversial because now I want to talk about the Dragon Ball Z Kai Cartoon Network Hindi dub. I'm going to be talking about the dub itself. And I know how sensitive some people are about this topic, how much it means to you guys to have the Hindi dub. I know how much people love these voice actors, how much they love their voices. It's just nostalgia fest for them to have them on screen all over again. Whether it's with the airing of Dragon Ball Super that happened last year on Cartoon Network, whether it was the re-airing of Z, whether it's Superhero getting into theaters, whether it's Kai now with the new Hindi dub. Why I love Dragon Ball Z Kai, I have to say, is because of two things. First off, the pacing is way better than Dragon Ball Z. Although do miss some of the filler episodes, I feel like anyone who's rewatching the show might want to just skip over some of that and just watch the plot of the show. And the fact that it still looks old, it's still the original show and it's just been done all over again as for certain frames, reworked, recolored. The product looks great. I really enjoy that it has a modern feel to it, but at the same time, it's still the same show. It's still the same show. And the second reason is, for me personally, the way the voices for a lot of characters developed. I'll say this about the Japanese version and the Hindi dub. The voices of Vegeta. I feel like English dub of Dragon Ball Z Kai is almost a perfect product. I think the only recast I don't like is Colleen Clinkenbeard as Kid Gohan and Teen Gohan. I think Stephanie Nadolny was just so perfect as Gohan. I really was upset that she didn't come back for it.
I've been letting them down my whole life! I've been letting people down my whole life! Whenever my friends needed me most, I was always too weak or too scared to help them. And how many of my friends have gotten hurt because I've been too weak or too scared to help them?
Most of the other recasts are actually great, with Linda Young getting replaced with Chris Ayres. R.I.P. Chris, you were such a good voice actor. He gave Frieza so much character. He gave Frieza the threatening, the really threatening aura that he needed, which didn't really come across from Linda Young's version and in the original Dragon Ball Z Funimation dub from the 1990s. I don't remember Frieza being my favorite villain at all. I didn't even like Frieza. I loved him when I watched Kai, and it is credit to Chris Ayres. He did such a fabulous job.
I forgot about those other insignificant little bugs. No matter, I'll crush them once I'm finished with these two weaklings.
So the little pests choose to intervene from the sidelines. They just won't rest until I've been pushed to the very limits of my patience.
I really love that whoever's voicing Frieza now in Dragon Ball Z Kai and the second half of Super in the Hindi dub, he's taken efforts to sound like Chris Ayres and Damon Mills. Previously, I think there was recasts happening over and over again where in the Z dub they were trying to copy Linda Young's version, which was the female version of Frieza. And then when Super aired with the Resurrection F Saga, I think there was someone else in the Hindi dub who was doing the voice. I don't know, but whoever we have right now is great. He sounds like Chris Ayres. He's got that threatening aura. And I'm really glad they found someone who could imitate Chris Ayres as well as he has.
अभी रुक जाओ वेजिटा, मेरे लिए ये कोई मौत की सजा नहीं है सेयन.
Getting back to what I said about the voice of Vegeta for the Japanese version, let me start with that. We'll get to the Hindi version because that's the one you want to hear about. I like the Japanese version of Vegeta in Kai way more than Z voice-wise. I feel like even though it's the same actor, I feel like his voice developed the right way for Vegeta. There was something in the new voice that they had picked, or the way his voice has developed, that just made him sound perfect performance-wise.
笑ってやがる。諦めて開き直ったか。それともさらに戦闘力をアップする余裕でもあるのか。どうした？もうおしまいか。そこまでが限界らしいな。 ではこの俺が貴様の死に土産に見せてやろう。笑ってやがる。諦めて開き直ったか、それともさらに戦闘力をアップする余裕でもあるのか。どうした？もうおしまいか？そこまでが限界らしいな。ではこの俺が貴様の死に土産に見せてやろう。超エリートサイヤ人の圧倒的パワーを。
And I think his overall performance in Kai has just been better. So yeah, I really loved it. I don't think I would say the same for Masako Nozawa as Son Goku. I feel like I feel like her peak was during Dragon Ball and Z. I think everything she's done during Kai, during Super is great, but I feel like she doesn't have the same, she's still great. She's still awesome and amazing. She's almost 90 and she's still doing Goku after all these years, but there was something about her old voice that really, really worked. I feel like if you compare the two dubs from Z and Kai in the Japanese version, you'll notice there's a difference in the performance, and you'll agree with me that the Z version is better. Listen to the broadcast audio and tell me I'm not right.
ご飯や父や地球やナメック星みんなの未来、ほら絶対に負けられねえ。父や地球やナメック星みんなの未来、ほら絶対に負けられねえ。
Getting to finally the Hindi version. What I like about the English dub Funimation version from Chris Sabat is that initially when he started voicing the character, he was trying to copy Brian Drummond, who had the raspy Vegeta voice, the thin, raspy Vegeta voice, which we are all familiar with. He always sounds like this. However, when the series progressed, it got a bit deeper as we went into the Android saga, the Boo saga, and then Funimation ended up doing a redub in 2005 or 6, I think, where they maintained the thicker voice. It didn't sound raspy anymore because I feel like Chris made the character his own, and he didn't feel like he needed to copy Brian Drummond anymore from the Ocean dub. And when you see Chris's performance in Battle of Gods and in Dragon Ball Z Kai, you see there's a lot of progress. His voice is clean. His voice doesn't sound raspy. It doesn't sound like, Vegeta's gargling marbles. He sounds very comfortable in the role. And that's what was impressive to me about Dragon Ball Z Kai, that overall these actors were so comfortable with the role. They sounded more like themselves than they did as if they were playing a character. And I mean that in a good way. Piccolo still sounds like a person, Vegeta still sounds like a person, and they sound, like they're not animated characters. They sound like authentic voices that Chris Sabat is giving them, even though, well, they are animated characters.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?! It's over 9,000! It's over 9,000! What? It's over 8,000!
That's right! Our chances of winning are just as good as yours are!
That's right. Our chances of winning are just as good as yours are!
This is where I have a slight problem with Prasad Barve's Vegeta, wherein I feel like he's kind of sort of not made the character his own. He's still doing the imitation of Brian Drummond from the Ocean Groove with the thin, raspy voice in Dragon Ball Super as well as Kai. His Vegeta still sounds very evil, if that makes sense. And I feel like with time, he could have matured the voice into something else. Now, this is not me saying that he doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like that is a production call. And I feel like that's also because he knows that the audience, from the Hindi dub fandom at least, is familiar with that voice for Vegeta. So if he suddenly changes it, there might be people who go, oh, this is not the version we're familiar with. We don't like this version of Vegeta. Make him sound like he used to sound. It's completely possible. And I feel like that may have been the reason why he's not been able to progress his voice into something else. I wish he does try that in Kai, with the Namek saga. I feel like there were moments, serious moments, especially in Vegeta's death, wherein I could sense there's this thicker voice that was coming out, a more natural sounding voice that was coming out from him. I feel like whenever we progress to the Android saga and the Boo saga, he makes the voice more his own and more, deeper and cleaner. It sounds less like he's doing an imitation of the Ocean dub, but he's doing his version of the character. I feel like that would really progress. That would really show the progress of Vegeta, not only as a character, but also the fact that he's aged, and that Prasad Barve, who's been voicing it for all these years, has also, you know, made the character move forward. And he sounds more like a Z fighter and not a Saiyan who came to destroy Earth. That's my only calm with the voice acting. Overall, I think the Hindi dub is great. I think they're making some smart decisions. I think Dragon Ball Super was a great way for them to test out modern Dragon Ball Hindi dubs, and with Kai, they are doing some really good stuff. I'm looking forward to people enjoying this dub, whoever loves the Hindi dub. But this has been my assessment from 3 episodes. I've only seen 3 episodes. I saw it one day when it was airing, so don't take it too seriously. Take my words with a grain of salt. You can check it out for yourself on Cartoon Network, the regular Cartoon Network. If you want to check out the Funimation dub of Dragon Ball Super, you can watch it on Cartoon Network HD. So yeah, that's just been my opinion from what I noticed. If there's anything you want me to address in future videos, I can do that. If there's anything I missed out on or something you noticed, please let me know in the comments in part 1 or part 2. Yeah, this is a second part of a video. So part 1, you can go to my channel and you can watch it. We talked about Dragon Ball Z Kai some more. In regards to the actual censorship of Dragon Ball Z Kai on Cartoon Network, I think it's a little well planned. They have basically already figured that because it's airing on a kids show as a kids show on a TV channel that is meant for kids, that they're going to be censored. They already knew that. So they've planned out, at least Audio Magic and their writers have planned out the dub according to where the censorship is going to happen. For example, the episodes I watched, which was basically where Bulma and Gohan and Krillin are on their way to planet Namek to get the Dragon Balls. This is after the fight against the Saiyans. I noticed that any of the shots where Bulma was wearing short shorts, they basically either cut those portions out or they zoomed into it so much that you can't see anything beneath her stomach. Well, at least her lower half was cut out, and due to that, a lot of scenes of Gohan and Krillin were also completely cut out, and the picture quality was so pixelated you could easily tell that they've tried to censor it by zooming in. And that usually happens on kids channels, at least recently. It didn't always happen, at least not in early 2000s and late 2000s, but it started happening pretty frequently after one point when censorship changed. So I wasn't surprised to see that. I was like, yeah, this was gonna happen. But why I mentioned that they knew this censorship was going to happen and how they've handled it is incredible. This one clip that I might end up showing you, basically Bulma is saying her dialogue in the Hindi dub before it even occurs in the English dub. They basically knew that the portion of the clip is going to get edited out. So how do we get this one dialogue across so that it seamlessly manages to go to the next scene and it doesn't feel like you're missing out on something? Usually what happens is that they get you uncensored episodes. The voice actors end up dubbing these episodes like the uncensored versions, and they end up editing it out during airings, and you look at these episodes and you go, oh, is something missing? I feel like there's dialogue missing, or they got cut off too fast, or there's something wrong. It feels that way. However, Dragon Ball Kai on Cartoon Network is very smartly edited and dubbed, wherein they already knew the portions they wanted to remove, and they've just gone out of their way to rewrite scripts where all of it, when edited out, is still going seamlessly, because that's how they're doing the dub.
अच्छा तो तुम लोग फिर से इमेज ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हो? वाह, कमाल की बात है।
Forever left. In hindsight, I really wish I would have thought to install a hibernation chamber on the stupid junk heap. You guys doing the whole image training thing again? Well, whoop-de-doo for you.
So I feel like it's pretty smart that they've done that. I'm kind of surprised as well because usually when dubs happen, you're not allowed to edit out portions and change stuff according to yourself because then it is considered a parody. So I'm guessing that Cartoon Network and Audio Magic have already gotten permission from Toei to do this because of standards and censorship, which Toei I'm sure would understand because Dragon Ball Kai is a very censored version of Z, as in a lot of blood is removed, a lot of nudity is removed. So the Indian airing going further and beyond to censor it out. I think the Japanese were understanding of this, but this is just all assumption. It was an interesting thing that I saw in the censorship of it. I don't necessarily like it. It's smart, it's creative, but I don't necessarily like it. I really think that if you are a Hindi dub fan and you want the original, feeling of Dragon Ball Kai, you want to watch the true version of Dragon Ball Kai in Hindi, they seriously need to do a DVD release. It has to happen. The DVD release, could give you the uncensored version with all the lines as they were meant to be. But it's a far fetched thing. I don't think they're going to do a DVD release or an OTT release. I think Dragon Ball in India, especially the Hindi dub, is at home when it's on Cartoon Network. So I don't think OTT and DVDs are going to happen. But yeah, it was an interesting thing, so I wanted to point this out. So yeah, that's it for today. And I guess this was fun. I might do another video where I talk about Dragon Ball Super, how it's been airing on Cartoon Network. I don't know. If you want that, let me know. That's it from me. Bye bye.